Let's dive right into this explainer and tackle a feeling of cold, existential dread that I know we have all experienced. You know the exact one. You're strapped into seat 17B, sipping on a lukewarm ginger ale, and out of absolutely nowhere, your brain whispers, "Wait, did we actually pack the passport?" It is this completely irrational, massive wave of panic that hits you the exact second you realize you cannot confidently remember zipping it into your bag.
And here is the truly maddening part, right? You literally remember touching it earlier today. You can vividly picture it sitting on the kitchen counter next to your keys. Yet, despite knowing that, you are currently mentally ransacking every single pocket of a carry-on bag you can't even physically open right now. You're completely unsure if it made that final leap into the luggage. So, why exactly does our brain torture us like this?
Section 1. Habitual tasks and selective amnesia.
In cognitive psychology, remembering to do something in the future, like packing that passport, is called a prospective memory task. And because you travel a lot, packing becomes what's known as a habitual prospective memory task. It's exactly like driving your usual route to work and suddenly realizing you have absolutely zero memory of passing the last 3 traffic lights. Your brain basically develops this catastrophically selective amnesia for completed routine actions, simply because it deemed them too boring to properly encode this specific time around.
According to the dynamic multi-process view of memory, when a task gets this incredibly routine, our brain acts like a remarkably lazy security guard. It literally decides the mundane packing process just isn't worth logging into the main security system. You physically did the task, sure, but your brain just didn't bother hitting record on the tape.
Section 2. When stress nukes your memory. Now, research highlights several major factors that will actively destroy your prospective memory. High-stress environments, constant multitasking, and sudden interruptions are the prime suspects here. Think about it. When you're awkwardly juggling your luggage, hopping on one foot to take off your shoes, and a TSA agent is yelling at you about liquids, your brain goes straight into survival mode. That sheer stress forces you to focus entirely on the here and now, which completely nukes whatever prospective memory you had of what you packed 2 hours ago.
Section 3. The just-in-case anxiety trap. So because you didn't encode the memory properly, your brain feeds you this toxic just-in-case logic. I better check my bag, just in case. This urges you to perform a safety behavior, like frantically checking your carry-on. And yeah, checking gives you a massive, rewarding hit of temporary relief. But here is the trap. You're essentially training your brain like a dog. Through negative reinforcement, you are teaching it that the only way to feel safe is to obsessively check your zippers again and again, which actually worsens your overall anxiety in the long run.
Which brings us to the ultimate cruel paradox. Studies on subclinical compulsive checking show that repetitive safety behaviors actually break your brain's trust in itself. The more you check your bag before leaving for the airport, the more you lose what's called metacognitive confidence. You literally lose trust in what you just saw with your own 2 eyes, leaving you stranded with an accurate memory that you stubbornly refuse to believe.
Section 4. The ACC and action monitoring.
Let's look under the hood. Meet your anterior cingulate cortex, or ACC. Think of it as the ultimate micromanager of your brain. One part checks off if you did a task, and the other checks what you did. But when you're 35,000 feet up and stressed out of your mind, this internal manager starts having a total meltdown, completely unable to bridge the gap between your past actions and your current environment.
Studies actually show that post-action ACC activity can persist completely independent of reality. Basically, this means your brain is going to continue hitting the panic button over the action of packing, completely oblivious to the physical fact that your passport is safely zipped in the bag right above your head next to your travel toothbrush.
Section 5. Doomsday Counterfactual Simulations.
And this is the exact moment your default mode network takes over, activating what cognitive neuroscientists call counterfactual reasoning. It's your brain's ability to imagine alternative realities. Within seconds, your mental simulation aggressively escalates from a simple, I might have forgotten it, straight to, I am going to be deported, lose my job, and be forced to live out the rest of my days in International Terminal 3.
Meanwhile, an entirely separate system, your cingulo-opercular network, jumps into the fray. This network monitors action outcomes and signals when we need to adjust our behavior. So during your mid-flight panic, it jumps in to signal massive, heavy regret for a terrible mistake you haven't even confirmed making yet. You are quite literally pre-grieving a ruined vacation based entirely on a biological hallucination.
Neuroscience tells us this specific brand of mental torture is actually a hallmark of complex human thought. Your brain is trying to update your future behavior by making you feel the emotional devastation of forgetting your passport right now. It's an absolutely brilliant evolutionary survival tool. It just happens to be deployed at the absolute worst possible time to ruin your in-flight movie.
Section 6. Surviving your own brain.
So how do we break the loop and survive our own catastrophizing brains? First, resist those compulsive just-in-case checks that ruin your brain's confidence. Second, do not delay. If you think to pack it right then and there. And most importantly, when you put that passport in the bag, look at it. Give the action your full, undivided attention so that lazy security guard in your brain actually hits record on the tape.
The next time you feel that completely irrational wave of panic mid-flight, take a deep breath. Remember, it's just a routine glitch in your ACC, compounded by travel stress. Ask yourself, isn't it significantly more likely that you packed it right, just like you always do? You definitely packed it, probably.